Hello everyone. So I have traveled to Kyoto today, and I'm staying in a traditional Japanese inn, or more commonly known as a ryokan. Part of the tradition in a ryokan is that you will have a tea serving, a host will have provided a thermos essentially, but of hot water that can last for, I think, up to 2 days. It can stay very hot for. So this is the next morning after me staying, and I thought it might be quite nice to share the process behind at least a simplified version of Japanese tea ceremony. And here we have a green suen tea loose leaf bag. I'll take the leaves. They'll be added to the Japanese teapot. Something to notice about the teapot: the handle isn't in the traditional, or at least not the Western position. Western teapots have a handle here, whereas Japanese have a very well balanced handle to hold here for pouring like so. Some of these teapots can get very large, because obviously some of these tea ceremonies can incorporate very large groups of people. Now we will add the loose leaves into the teapot. It will be allowed to stew for at least 2 minutes. We also have a sweet treat to complement the tea. Once the tea is brewed, we'll then pour into the cup, and once served, we grab with 2 hands. And this is common courtesy in Japan. Whenever you're gifting somebody something, it's always with 2 hands, like so, and you receive the gift with 2 hands. Okay, so let's move the lid. I didn't know that was going to fit. That's just, I took a risk and it paid off. So the leaves and the bag just popped in, and then we'll add the water. Perfect. Okay, now the tea, as I said, we'll leave to stew for at least 2 minutes to give the leaves time to ruminate and diffuse and get itself into the water. Green tea has a whole host of health benefits. But not only is it healthy, it encourages a balance in your body, it also tastes very, very smooth. It almost has a silkiness to it, especially if you're drinking like a traditional green tea at least. And I've been in Japan now for, I think this is my 4th day, and it's been the most incredible experience. Everything about this country, from the stark contrast of Tokyo city centre to the foothills that I saw on the bullet train traveling to Kyoto, and out here in Kyoto, I'm surrounded again by foothills. I have a running river just outside. I will actually overlook it. I was going to shoot a video on the table overlooking the river, but obviously the noise of the river is quite overbearing, and we wanted to savor the simplicity and natural beauty of the tea ceremony. But I came to Japan on a whim. I had an extra week to take off work and thought, well, where could I go? And I must say, I appreciate it and I absolutely respect anybody who chooses to be vegan or vegetarian. I had seen the teppanyaki videos of these Wagyu beef steaks being cut and fried, and I just was absorbed. And I was very, very fortunate and was able to experience that on the very first night. And I have some videos and some photos, I might share that later. But it was just the most impossible experience. I have never tasted flavors. The depth and the richness of the steak was just beyond magnificence. It really was. Anyway, we can go ahead now and pour our tea. You'll notice it almost has a green tint to it. But it is in fact green. So this is taken with 2 hands to the mouth. It has such a really smooth and silky balance to it. It's beautiful. And obviously the longer the tea bag is left to stew, the more concentrated the green tea solution will be. This feels like the perfect opportunity to break out our sweet treat. There we go. It's just perfect bite size. Notice the green layering, even the detail behind a simple biscuit. Little balance there, little insignia on the biscuit. It's really quite beautiful. And in a very strange way, this biscuit is almost a microcosm to Japan. It's perfectly proportioned. It's very well made. It has an accuracy, almost like a discipline to it. And now the taste. It's a green tea wafer, and it's beautiful. It has a sweetness, just the right sweetness to complement the tea. Absolutely magnificent. I chose to stay in a ryokan because I wanted at least a sample of traditional Japanese living, or at least a hint of it. Now, where this Ryokan is, again, I'm removed from the closest station is about a little over half a mile away. So it's quite a quiet area, and the walk here, I have some pictures as well that I can share. The walk was just beautiful. It was so quiet. in these winding streets, walking through traditional Japanese housing, and people that walked past nodded and greeted me kindly and openly. And I was very mindful when I came to Japan to acknowledge and follow custom as much as I could, and to be mindful of what they might interpret as bad manners. Simple things like I never took a call in a public space on my phone, certainly never on a train. Removing your shoes when it's appropriate to, and entering a specific kind of building, mostly public buildings. I was in a restaurant last night you always know because there's a shoe rack, usually with some shoes in it, as you walk in the door. And I was looking for food last night, and this is, as a solo traveler, this is something that puts a lot of people off, having to eat on their own and having to find the courage. I think courage is probably the right word. That's maybe over exaggerating a little bit, but having the mindset of just walking into a building where you know they speak little to no English on your own without support, and try to order yourself some food. And as it is, since I've been here, I've eaten in some really exquisite restaurants. Again, I'm very, very lucky. But last night I just wanted something, again, traditional. And I found this place, and I couldn't have picked a better restaurant, I think, if I had a week to choose. You walk in, I remove my shoes, and the host took me up a corridor, and he led me down the corridor, and down this corridor was individual rooms, and you sit on a cushion, and where your feet would sit under the table is actually lowered down. So you're actually seating in a normal position, but it's almost like you're at the kind of at floor height. As I said, the ground is actually cut away where your feet would sit. So it sits in like a lowered, kind of depressed elevation. And I was in a cubicle on my own, which is exactly how I like to eat my food anyway. Whenever I go into a restaurant, I would always kind of pick a table that's away from most people and sit with my Surface Pro and watch a TV show or a bit of a movie, perhaps. And I ordered tempura chicken, and I think it's Udo noodles they're called, or Odon noodles rather. Odon noodles in a beautiful rich soup, and the flavors, you could almost taste the love and the compassion that this man puts into his food. Sweet treat. The man, he spoke no English whatsoever, but he was able to bring me a menu that was 90% Japanese, but then the word was also translated into English. So I could spot tempura chicken and the udon soup. And they came within 15 minutes. And the tempura was still hot, just straight out of the fryer. Or the pan, however it was cooked. And it was just a very simple experience, but again, when you're faced with this, oh no, I'm walking into somewhere by myself, they don't speak my language, it is a little bit intimidating. But when the food comes and you're kind of, the hard part is done, I just sat back with my back against the wall and took a deep sigh and just felt really grateful to be in this position that I can come to Japan and experience this. Because remember, that's all life is. It's just a series of experiences. And it's up to you to widen and deepen those experiences. It's very easy to be born and live and die in the same city because it's comfortable and you might still be very happy there. But what I would recommend for anyone that's thought about traveling on their own but just couldn't bring themselves to do it, just do it. Research before you go so you have fundamental understanding of things. You can plan as much as you like, or you can just book a ticket and land there and take it as it comes. But to give yourself, at least the first time round, to give yourself that confidence, do your planning, do your reading. There's YouTube videos for everything, for every question you could possibly have. And even since I've been here, I've learned a little bit more than what the research total was, I suppose. And that's to be expected. But I'm just so glad I came. And this tea. It's really the second cup. It's, again, a bit more depth to it than the first. More flavor. But maintains that silkiness. I think we'll treat ourselves to a third cup. And it's almost as if we'd planned it, because we have exactly 3 cups from the teapot. I appreciate this is not a conventional video for me. I imagine it's considered lo-fi because I'm just recording with a headset. I will of course be back very soon. But I wanted to take this opportunity to share a very small slice of Japan with you. I know not everybody uses social media. I've been documenting quite a lot of my trip on Instagram stories, and a few things on Twitter and Snapchat. But I like to be as inclusive as I can be with the channel. And for those of you that choose not to use social media or not to follow me for whatever reason, then I've made this little video for you. And of course I don't have any editing software here, so what you will see is the entire process, unedited and as it is. And I obviously get quite a lot of questions about how long it must take me to do my research and write scripts, and well, as I say, I don't write any scripts. I just wing the whole thing. Pretty much how I live my life. Just take each day as it comes. And that third cup. Has a fullness to it. It's very, very pleasant. And I think if I was to drink the third cup as the first cup, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. But the first cup almost kind of eases you in to the flavor profile of the green tea. And with each preceding cup, the concentration is deepened. That has been the perfect start to my morning. I don't think I mentioned this, but it's about 6 a.m. just now. I have a breakfast reservation for traditional Japanese breakfast with the owner of the Ryokan at 8 a.m. So I'm going to go out for a walk along the river now that I've got a nice warm belly full of tea. And it's just above freezing in Japan just now. So for me from the UK, this is home from home. But there's very little wind, which is very pleasant. When I was walking home from the restaurant last night, and again, there wasn't a soul to be seen on the streets, these little back alleys. And I walked adjacent to the river. They had a beautiful kind of promenade almost. Without any of the commercialization of a promenade. There was no stalls or anything like that. And I just took a very leisurely stroll adjacent to the river and just really took time to appreciate the moment. Because again, that's all life is. It's a series of moments. And last night especially, I felt very fortunate. Like I always seem to. But I'm going to go and do the same walk again. And see where my travels take me. Come back and breakfast with the host, of which of course I'm a little nervous about, but he doesn't speak any English, so I don't need to worry too much. I will just follow his instruction. And then I have a day to see the local temples and the shrines. And then tomorrow I head back to Tokyo for my final night, and I have rebooked the original teppanyaki restaurant I was at because I couldn't imagine a more perfect ending to my trip. And I think this could be the greatest 3 weeks of my life because I land back home on Thursday at like 11 p.m. and I'm hoping to get a video recorded Friday night because then I fly to Scotland on Saturday to spend Christmas with my family. And my parents are coming back from Spain like they always do, so I'm very excited. It'll be a really relaxing 2 weeks. And I hope to all see you soon. I will drink my final sip. I wish you all happiness, and I'll see you very, very soon, okay? Take care, relax, and appreciate the life that we have. Good night.